Good morning. Good morning. There's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on in our busy lives. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Chicago, in person and at home. I am Jim Proctor. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, the Pledge Committee, the Pastoral Care Committee, and this illustrious choir. I am honored to welcome you to worship this morning, along with our worship team, Reverend Dave Mesner, Liz Kreslin, and Dr. Adam Odell. We all say that with a smile since he got his doctorate this year. First Unitarian Church has been a home for progressive religion in Chicago and beyond since 1836. The church sits on the western shore of Lake Michigan, south of the Chicago River. We honor the indigenous peoples for whom these unceded ancestral homelands, as well as the diverse and vibrant indigenous American communities who make their home here today. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but by the values we share and the mission to grow our souls and heal the world. Now, whether you've just stepped into this church for the first time or for the 1,000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. No matter your race, or who you love, or how much money you do or don't have, you are welcome here. If you are a visitor, we're excited to have you with us. Please let us know that you're here by filling out a visitor's card, making sure to include an email address. Here's a visitor's card sample, and dropping it in the offering plate. This will ensure you get our weekly newsletter. If anyone has a joy or sorrow that you would like to have read out loud, please fill out a card that looks like this and give it to one of the ushers as they collect the offering. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like the minister or pastoral care committee to know about privately, you may put that card in the sanctuary box at the back of the church at any time. Please join us after the service in Chris Moore Parlor for the refreshments and good conversation. To get there, you can go up the stairs to your left and follow the crowd and ask for anyone to guide you. Now, Reverend Dave has a couple of announcements that he would like to share with you.
Thank you, Jim. The first thing I want to do is I want to call attention to that brief review of activities Jim offered in his own life, and to point out that in leading worship, singing in the choir, doing pastoral caregiving, and governing the congregation, you pretty much have a full tour of the ministries of this church, and I'm just filled with gratitude for that model of how to live into a church of practice, not just belief. Believe good things, and then do good things everywhere you can for as long as you can with as much as you got. Ethic of the place. Thank you, Jim. So a few things. After church today, you've heard about coffee hour. Definitely everyone stop there. In the back, in what we call the Vote Library, I'm going to be there right after the service for a little welcoming. I do a little UU 101. That really is a chance, if you're a newcomer to this place, that we have a chance to connect with each other. I say a few words about what I think it is to come into this community and discover how this place can be a part of your life and yours a part of ours. just meet me in the back with your coffee, and we'll do that together. And I try and manage that to about 30 minutes or so it won't disrupt your day too much. This afternoon, we continue our public witness and public vigil, so at 1 p.m. at Nichols Park on 53rd Street, there's a group gathering in defiance of authoritarianism and in favor of democracy and the safety of each and every one of us. At 11:30, the Global Studies Group, which is in particular studying decolonization, and I believe still looking at the history of colonization in Africa, is meeting at 11:30 in that same library area. So a lot to do today after worship. Please be invited. This week on Wednesday, I'm just going to lift up one thing this week. We try and do one special thing every Wednesday night so you have something to tie you over between the Sundays, because it can be a long stretch between getting your dose of First You. This is our community meal this week, 6 p.m. on Wednesday night. I'll send out some RSVPs so we have a count, so we make enough gruel. But if you forget to RSVP, you just come. There'll be enough. This month, I'll let leak that we have several, this week, we have several important birthdays we're recognizing. I'm not going to name names so people feel forced to come, but if it's your birthday, know there's going to be a cake, so maybe you want to come. I don't know. Everyone, you're welcome on Wednesday night. I look forward to seeing you there to break bread together.
Please join me in the reading of our covenant, which is written at the top of your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and servants its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Today is All Souls Sunday, and as Universalists by tradition, half of our tradition, this is an incredibly important day in the cycle of our year. It is also, as humans, an incredibly important day because we lift up and remember those who have passed from this world but remain with us in spiritual ways. I want to call us to worship today by sharing a little bit of my week that had me reflecting on the meaning of this place in that project. We were fortunate this week. We hosted for about 3 or 4 days the board meeting of our Ministers Association, our Continental Ministers Association, and we invited all of the ministers to come break bread with us last Sunday night and then spend days in this place. So one of the privileges that I have, but frankly we share, is that when we have guests here, we get to show off our house. And I'll tell you, we're a little bit house proud here. And I can't contain it when people come to visit, especially colleagues, because the thing about ministers, most of them are of course, church geeks, and 90% are like church house building nerds and are really interested in places. And so I like showing them bit by bit what's magical in this place. And on that tour, it struck me this week when I said to them, I was going around, I was telling some of the stories up here, and the thing I'm always most excited about, the big reveal, if you will, is I say to them, I lean in like it's a secret invitation, and I say, do you want to see the crypt? Oh my gosh, they light up. What is this? I say, come downstairs and watch your step. I make it sound heavy, And then we go downstairs, and then there's a lightness to that reveal, because when you enter it, you enter our little crypt chapel, which is this incredible space of peace. The heavy stone keeps it the same temperature year-round. It's always quiet and clean, and a place to sit and to be with your own thoughts and to be with your memories and to feel the presence of all of those for whom you lift up a prayer. It's a place that invites you to do that in a way unlike many others. And then the final moment is you open the door and you walk into the rooms, and it's no longer about the architecture of peace and the architecture of invitation into sacredness. It's about people. Because in the crypt, the walls are inscribed with the names of all those who are interred in that eternal rest in this house. And from there, it goes from, you have an amazing building, to tell me about who this is. And people start to recognize names. Now, ministers, because we have so many professors down there, they'll start seeing some of their seminary professors, and they're like, oh my gosh. And then they'll see names they recognize from the community. And then, again, if we're house proud, we're people proud in this place. Then the honor is you get to start telling stories. And I could tell a story. This is a member of my congregation, and this is her parents, right? This was a member of our congregation that when you go to coffee hour, Aki's place is named after. And the list goes on. And this is the first dean of the Divinity School at the University of Chicago. And this person, that's the Hull of Hull Chapel. And the stories, the people then are, they're trying to get away from me because there are a lot of stories down there. But that I want to create as a visual image on this day where we contemplate legacy and the way people live on, is that we have these moments, these sparks, where we're invited into a place of memory. We're invited into a place of telling a story. We're invited into a place of feeling gratitude for what we've received. We're invited into a place where we feel enlivened by those who are with us physically here now and those who are with us spiritually forever. That, my friends, is why we come to church. That's part of the point of this religious life we're trying to stumble through together. So welcome to the celebration of all of that. Come, let us now worship together.
Please rise in body or spirit in your great hymnal 128, for all that is our life.
It's a little bit of a different day today because it's All Souls Day, but we do have children's programming. So if there are children here who would like to join our classes and their teachers, I invite you all to come up and head to your classes.
As you know, each week we take up an offering. Each month we tend to share our plate with a community organization who's working to make this a world with less suffering and more possibility. This week we're doing a one-day special Share the Plate in the wake of Hurricane Melissa, which hit Jamaica incredibly hard. And so today's plate offering was nominated by our member Grace Lottie-Baudière Williams. Grace's family is in Jamaica, and they are okay. The news is not good from that island. On the positive side, the government is doing a good work of rapidly trying to get people safe and initiate rebuilding as best they can. So we will be sharing the plate for disaster relief with American Friends of Jamaica that has a dedicated matching fund for this purpose. I was saying to Grace, we were just in Jamaica not that long ago doing what most of us do in Jamaica, which is go and have just a wonderful time and drink rum punch and enjoy the beach. One of the things we saw there as we spent time with people is that it was still in the midst of rebuilding following, was it Beryl? Still flattened houses, still the project of getting the money and the funding to get basic housing back into place. It's a multi-year project, and this is kind of the worst storm in a very long time. So along with our gift of what we can give, let us put up a prayer for the people to rebuild in that really extraordinary community. Today's offering will now be gratefully received.
We changed up your order of service a little bit. This is a song that pairs with David's message today. This is called Roots. Of a tree, wrap the soil in the summertime and the wintertime both. Oh, wrap me like the roots of a tree, wrap the soil in the summertime and the wintertime both. Oh, wrap me like the roots of a tree, wrap the soil in the summer. Tree moves slowly down into the earth, changing in place, creating a space that no human hand could. Can I stay changed through the seasons? Can I change right where I am? Wrap me like the roots of a tree, wrap the soil in the summertime and the wintertime both. Oh, wrap me like the roots of a tree, wrap the soil in the summertime and the wintertime both. Oh, wrap me like the
Each week we do make a practice of sharing joys and sorrows of the community, and I'll share these that I just received. I have a sorrow for all the unnecessary hunger that people will be experiencing in the days ahead, from Elizabeth Lund, that from Adam that he just handed me, feeling deep sorrow for my neighbor who was arrested by ICE while selling tamales, but grateful for our neighborhood community for responding that morning and still making the time to keep our trick-or-treaters safe with a community patrol. I have a joy from Tony that I went to Springfield and wore a train costume to secure transit funding. So, thankfully the bill passed. I did hear about that, so thank you, Tony. Congratulations. And a joy from Jillian that West Ham beat Newcastle 3-1 in the midst of one of our most dire seasons in decades. Come on, you Irons. We honor all of the joys and sorrows that we bring with us here each week, those we share out loud and those we keep in our hearts. We make space for them here together, and we hold each other with them. A reading from The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Then Almitra spoke, saying, "We would ask now of death." And he said, "You would know the secret of death. But how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide to the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one."
grateful for the gift of music this morning. Whenever there are times of loss or I'm in the mind of contemplating the losses I've experienced and the losses I anticipate, it is always music that speaks to me, speaks for me when I cannot. I am grateful having this weekend my pal Levi with us here last night for a concert and this morning. I did not meet Levi in the context of music. It's important for this sermon to frame, we were baby chaplains together, relatively newborn and wandering about the hospital, trying to heal and not harm, as I picture us all wandering about this earth, trying to heal and not harm. That's a wicked problem, this business of living in a gentle way. One of Levi's gifts, which is in fact greater, if you can believe it, than his gift for music, was his gift of making that project simpler than many of us make on a daily basis. His first chapter was in the military, which, coupled with some of his natural gifts, taught him some simple invocations that would often set us off in our day. His best one was, okay, now time to ruck up, which meant get your sack and get moving. The march isn't going to march itself. It's time to go. Let's get in the rooms and do what we can. And so I hear Levi's voice less often singing, more often, ruck up, go do some good. Make the challenge of living simpler, not more complicated. On this day, we're facing the challenge to make the problem of living and dying simpler and not more complicated. To make the problem of having lived and loved and lost, it seems, that love simpler and not more complicated. My hope is that through our spiritual living, our spiritual digging, and through our relationships, this whole business gets simpler and clearer and not more complicated as we get older. Is life getting more complicated for you or simpler? I'm hoping in the last of it, it'll all seem so simple and so clear. That's my prayer for us. Well, let me share a scene from baby chaplaincy that has stayed with me and has remained an evergreen teacher about this business, this pluralistic business of confronting the awesome and awful reality of death. That's some of the work we're doing today. It was really early on, and one of the jobs is to work the emergency room. Liz, where's Liz? Liz is getting ready to do CPE this summer. That's the first time, the training, where they say, like, here's your beeper, here's your badge. If anything terrible happens, this will go off, you go, right? So that happened, and the patriarch of a great family had died incredibly suddenly. He was brought in, right, experiencing pain. Enough time for the family to gather. 4 generations of family, if you're lucky enough to have that kind of situation. 4 generations of family. And so passionate was this family that they had crowded into the emergency room bay. Usually it's like, well, 2 people can come in because they're going to be working, but this family was a force unto itself. And so there were maybe 30 or 40 people who had gathered, and the patriarch had stopped living, stopped breathing. 3 deep around the body, spilling out into the emergency room, Central Bay. The family was in shock from the loss. Some of us have been in that situation, just coming to grips with all that had happened and trying, maybe some of them, just to grasp what it would mean for their continuing life together. This was my first visit of that sort as a chaplain, and not as a person called to the emergency room for a member of my own family. So we stood in silence, and the family wept and whispered and consoled one another, and in that you start to see the bubbling of how healthy families function instinctively to start connecting with each other, holding each other, saying a word. We eventually said prayers, we said the psalm aloud, and everyone knows, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Standing there from this intimate stranger's view, it's not a place you're usually invited in to see this ecosystem at work. I could see there were all kinds of different experiences in that room. It's often too simple to totalize it and say there was one experience on that day. And often I do that because I always remember when it's me in that system, I remember my experience. And I remember, so Christmas, I say, that day it was like this. But when you're invited into another family, you see that it's more complicated than that. People are having 10 different experiences, 20 different experiences. As many experiences as there are people, plus 2 or 3 more, if you know what I mean. I could see from where I was standing and there were a lot of young men lingering in the hallway, unsure about this whole business. No, not an encounter with this before. Couldn't quite bring themselves to come in. Some farther out in the circle, maybe they were close friends, maybe they were church folk, came in to pay their respects quickly and then felt like it was their call to absent themselves. Some stood steadfast. People came and went and they were fixed there. Some couldn't stop touching the grandfather's body. Finally, there were just 3 of us left in this stall. I mean, this is an hour later. Stay with me. There are 3 of us left. There was me, there was maybe a young man. He was about 7, 8, 9 years old. And he was rubbing his maybe great-grandfather's arm still. He wouldn't stop rubbing his arm, trying to figure that out. We each have our own way of trying to come to terms with it. And his way was kind of pre-verbal, knowing that he wasn't going to get a reply, but holding on to the body, hoping, maybe, as if to conjure some last burst of life. And his aunt, she was the 3rd, she was standing there in her uniform. She was a Rochester City bus driver. Bus drivers brook no nonsense, I'm telling you that. And she was standing at the door, and she finally says, "Come on now, enough of that, let's go. He lived a good life, and you'll be seeing him again soon enough." Took up the boy, she said, "Thank you, Pastor." Left the room, and I was last there. Standing somewhere in that continuum, all of us between those 2 anchors, is how I feel. On the one hand, viscerally confused, unable to let go of the body of this life, to release our grip on the physical, unready to release our love to the eternal. How can we not feel that? I feel that still about people I have lost, looking for them. And on the other hand, this instinct down in us to make sense of it, to explain how it all gets made right in the fullness of time. Surely, in the fullness of time, this all gets made right. Those who leave us, don't worry. You'll see them soon enough. How comforting that is. Our faith, not that it's all one thing, our faith needs to accommodate both of these very real human needs: visceral comprehension, and yes, on occasion, cognitive explanation. It's the challenge we face there in that one catastrophic moment, and then in the reckoning of the human condition in all of the years that follow. And the answer is this: as I talk about some young man who's 7 years old, as if, don't worry, it's going to make sense when you're 57. That's what I am. Some of you got some more years on that, but I can tell you between the 7 and the 57, did the 50 years allow me to make more sense of it? Have I been given the answer? 50 years I dedicated to it. I haven't been given the answer yet? What kind of church is this? This is the challenge we face, to hold that reality. I want to invoke the words of my colleague, now of blessed memory as well, Forrest Church. He said, all religion is our human response to the dual reality of being alive and having to die. Simple contradiction, an impossible paradox. That's the call for a religious response. That's the difficult paradox for which science will not give us an answer. Whether you've lived 57 years, 92 years, or if you get your biblical 120. I wish you all the biblical 120. How old was Methuselah? I wish you 900 years. But at the end, there's not a scientific answer coming for how to hold these paradoxes of life. We need to equip ourselves to this frustrating condition. This is particularly difficult as Unitarian Universalists with a particular high regard for reason, that don't worry, through time we'll work it out and we'll make sense of it all. In this case, to go back to my opening about making things more complicated or more simple, the only hope we have is not to build up, at least I believe, more and more complicated explanations about this paradoxical phenomenon in which we are lodged, but to simplify it down to something more visceral, meaning that of the gut, and more emotional, meaning that of the heart, and more spiritual, meaning that of the whole, that we might live and flourish in the midst of the paradox, not resolve it. How do we deal with the reality of intimate, profound, and irrevocable loss in our lives? We know the experience of loving people and of losing people that we have. Now, how do we make a decision about what we're going to do with those together? It is our way, and this isn't just Unitarian Universalists, but as religious people, and I've thought about this a lot as I've done the last 100 funerals, memorial services, and interments, it is our tendency, I should say, to isolate our discussion of death to these very particular moments of our life. To discuss death at these moments of rupture, catastrophe, disruption, and disorientation. And I think we do ourselves a disservice if we have only that moment, those 3 minutes we can hang in this moment of panic and terror in this emergency room bay, and I can feel it. My own experiences and the ones where I was there for others. That's not the place where you can do this deeper, calmer, more peace-creating work. And so that's the space we're cracking open today. Not, I hope, in a moment of panic and catastrophe, but in a moment of mindfulness about having loved and having lost, about living right now and knowing our time is relatively short, knowing that the people we love most in the world are here just for now. Let us make it spacious, and let us be brave in reaching out to each other in that same way as in the emergency room, the ecosystem that reaches out and says, what you feel, I feel too. What you fear and causes you anxiety causes me fear and anxiety too. And what causes you to well up with the gift of memory and the gift of legacy, well, that brings me light and hope too. This is not the solution so much as if it was a technical problem. This is a choice about a way of living and how ought we go forward. That's what I mean by making things simple. Life isn't a Rubik's Cube to solve. That's not what we've been given. We've been given inexplicably a set of challenges, a paradox in which we are lodged, in which we have to figure out how are we going to go forward? How are we going to live today? How are we going to feed and nurture each other? How are we going to combine our voices in song? We contain our encounter of death and the dead. Let us speak of the dead. We contain our encounter of the dead to our own detriment. Jonathan Edwards, who's a precursor to us, but part of what we tend to bristle against, his most famous words, sinners in the hands of an angry God. I mean, he was part of what gave rise to our entire movement to say, well, God's not so mad. God loves us. It's okay. Don't be fearful. Be human, right? He offered his congregants some time ago, he suggested every night as you lie before you go to sleep, imagine yourself lying in your own coffin, that you might encounter death each day. I was taught that at the University of Chicago. One of our neighbors taught me that. And at first I laughed a little bit because, oh no, I'm not going to be engaging in that practice. I have some other spiritual practices I might recommend. And yet, let us not make death so alien to our life that we're unable to live as fully human. I think that's part of the message. That's part of this practice of putting those we love, their bodily remains, here in this house that we come to every week and that we return unto them, that we are reminded that they are with us still, and that our living time, though brief, is powerful, that our spiritual time is eternal and remains valuable. That too is a paradox I encourage us to embrace. Great comfort resides, I believe, in cultivating the inexplicable sense, the spiritual knowing that somehow the best of what we are, that which is most essentially real and loving, is not a transient reality as the body is, but a permanent part of this greater whole. I don't know what your version is of that story, the way that an eternal spiritual value exists. There are 1,000 ways to tell that story, and I'm not here to fix you on just one. I am here unabashedly to encourage you to the contemplation of our sustained participation in the eternal, and that is not a matter of church doctrine or a particular theology, what I believe the natural state of this universe. We are part of a grand ongoing whole that we do not understand today and we will not understand tomorrow, but that doesn't change the ontological reality, and I want you to take comfort and draw power from the ontological reality in which we participate. I want you to take comfort in being part of a great, expansive human family that expands side to side. We are part of a family greater than the one we rode in the car with this morning. We are part of a family greater than everyone in the pews here today. We are part of this great human family. I counted before I came here today, more than 8 billion. They are brothers, sisters, and sibs to us. And we are part of a family, too, that extends into history, generations of the ancestors who are present here with us today, rooting for us, bearing witness to us, loving us still, I believe it. And we are with already our great-great-great-grandchildren. Imagine them. Imagine them. The majesty. Imagine how much we are for them and how much the decisions we make today to create this beloved community we're talking about, to create a safe world, to create a world in which everybody has food to eat, to create a world in which everyone can walk down the street, to create a world where there's always a seat in the church house. We're working on creating this world not just for the people who are here, but the people who haven't arrived yet. We visit not only the emergency room at the end of life, we visit the labor and delivery room because we anticipate always new life, and that is the same blessing. Blessings behind us, blessings in front of us, and us suspended between the two, awestruck. Awestruck is what I want us to be on this day. The gifts we have been given in the past, the gifts that have been promised us in the future, standing in between the two on this day, All Souls Day, let us look forward, let us look backward, and let us rejoice. How strange on this day, is it strange on this day set aside to give good care and attention to this matter of death ought to be a day of celebration? No. This is our most important day of celebration, for it's the day we recognize and live into being fully human, my friends. So rejoice. For all we have loved will come back to us again. Each person who has lived a good life, don't worry, I want to say to you, don't worry, you'll see them again soon enough. You'll see them again when their wisdom guides you through the difficult stretches of life. You'll see them again when you live more fully because of what they built, what they preserved, how they persevered. You'll see them again when their gifts and their habits bubble up in your own way of occupying the world, in the way of your children. You'll hear the voices of your grandparents in your children, literal and metaphorical, speaking back to you. You'll see them again when they are in your heart, present in every beat. Take every beat of your heart as a whisper of those you love, as a whisper of the divine. Be sure you will see all that you have loved and lost again. It is waiting to come rushing back. May it be so, and amen. I'm now going to invite a little turn. In these next two turns together, what we're going to do, my colleague Liz and I are going to invite you forward during this time in just a brief ritual of remembering those we love. We have a little bowl filled with water. That's a cue, yeah. And we'll have some stones, and it's centered there. And we're going to invite you forward as you feel moved to lift up in memory and voice someone whom you loved and who has died. You can say a word of who you're remembering today, and if there's some gift you're remembering, you may share that too. Here's a twofold invitation. One is if you wish to drop a stone in the water as an act of memory and release, you may do so. If you'd like to instead share the name and take a stone as a talisman that you might carry with you, do that instead. So I invite you in this space. Is there something you want to offer up and release? Is there something you want to hold to and take with you? And we'll do that until everyone's had a chance to share. And then we're going to turn to a sung litany of the saints that Dr. Odell is going to lead us in. Okay? So let us breathe together for a few minutes, and you'll lift up those names, and Adam might be doing a little music underneath this, and Liz and I will be offering you a microphone as you come forward. Thank you. We remember on this day the very recent and new loss of Esther Barnett, beloved baby sister of Madeira. May she rest in peace and power and memory.
I know she's not suffering, but
She's not suffering.
I'm gonna miss her. Thank you.
Remembering Esther today.
I remember today and every day Finley Campbell, who still talks to me and advises me on how to live my life.
Remembering Reverend Dr. Campbell.
Remembering my mother and all the 8 brothers and sisters have gone before me. Thank you.
I remember Finley too.
Remembering Mother, Daddy, my departed siblings, and all my aunts and uncles.
Remembering who I lost this year, my stepfather of 50 years, Frank Cook, and Mom Haley, Jeannie Haley, my best girlfriend's mother.
Remembering my Aunt Vicky, who died when I was in my 20s, but she was an anchor when I was a kid.
Good morning. I'm remembering my mother, Mary Lou Kinderconnect, who was a saint and who's with me every day, and our cousin, Roland Tenorio, who we lost this year, and all of her family that is very sad and prays for him.
I'm an old lady now, so I have a long list of souls that have departed from life. But today was my father's birthday, so I call out John LaRue, my dad.
I'm remembering my grandmother, Nina Monrose, who passed away from colon cancer during the COVID pandemic. She always had wonderful pieces of advice to give, and right now in my life I'm going through a lot of difficult times, so I really do miss her and could use her advice.
My grandmother, she passed away when I was out of the country and I couldn't see her. Well, she never shared her name, but I've always known her as grandmother. She wouldn't want me to be sad for her. She would want me to be happy for her.
I remember Laurie Rosenblum, a longtime member of this church, a caring person, a good friend.
Thank you, Ellie.
My wife and I suffered our 3rd pregnancy loss, so remembering all the 3 that didn't quite make it to the world.
remembering my husband, Virgil Sanders, who passed away 5 years ago.
I remember my mother, Nofria Gilardi, who is always with me in my heart. And I also remember Finley Campbell whenever I walk into this space.
Remembering my mom, she died 20 years ago today. And remembering my sister, she passed away 2 weeks ago. We miss you.
My 24-year-old son, Eli, who for years in his short life of a nurse worked in the ER. And my husband, who is alive but worked for 40 years in the ER but wasn't able to resuscitate him.
My step-grandmother, Mona Lund, who showed me so much love, and my dad and his siblings. She lived a very long, very good life, and I know that if she could see my son, she would be so happy.
Two women who are very, excuse me, important to me, Fumi Cohen and Ann Jevzikas died recently.
Remembering Kai, a young woman I worked with a year or two ago who was shot and killed. May her memory be a blessing.
Chris Chitty, Drew Sexton, Linda Young, Connie Barrett.
Remembering my father, Sandy, and my mother, Nelia, whose voices are in my mind as I'm parenting my children.
Remembering my son, Kenneth Anderson Stewart, who spent his life developing housing for the poor across this nation. But his form of cancer had no cure.
Remember my brother, Harry Basson, who died at the end of the pandemic. He died of cancer, which spread throughout his body. There was no cure.
I'm remembering my beloved sister who passed away 5 months ago on Memorial Day. She was my only sibling. And of course, I still grieve our beloved parents.
Remembering Spence and Lou
Austin, my grandparents, who I miss dearly, and Alberta Moore, who was my great-grandmother, who I miss.
The stones of this church bear witness to so many that I remember. In particular, I'll name today my mother, Rosemary, and my father, Richard Snow.
My grandparents long passed, Floyd and Betty Jo Freeriksen, Dick and Marion Mankus. They gave me what I needed to become who I am.
Remembering Maureen Gibson, my cantankerous, stubborn Irish aunt who passed away about a year ago and whose birthday would be tomorrow.
Remembering my grandparents, Doreen and Truman McCreeless, and Norman Jean Nelson, and my great aunt Liz Cathcart.
When we name them aloud, we bring them to life. When we feel the love in our heart, we empower them for the future to continue to change this world. Let us continue to bear witness to this beloved community of saints, this beloved community of souls who brought us here today, showed us what it was to love, taught us how to live, and journey with us still. Amen.
Richard, Jennifer, you are not forgotten. Veronica and Jennifer, you are not forgotten. Carrie also talking, you are not forgotten. Richard Blah, you are not forgotten. Aki Yasin talking, you are not forgotten. Tim Blood.
thrive in body or spirit. For hymn 1051 are sending him, We Are, in your teal hymnal.
While I have you standing, I'm going to invite you to take a hand next to you for a closing word together. As you prepare to go back into the world, may you be blessed. May you be blessed on this day with a sudden awakening. Right now, right here, may you be blessed by a sudden awakening to the great cloud of witnesses watching, loving, cheering you forward. May you be blessed on this day with a sudden awakening to your life and the gift it is to this world, the power you have to love, to create, and to transform. Go well, my friends. Today is a day of memory. Today is also a day of birth. Amen.